So this is an MT82 main shaft. It's actually an early one, so they were a little bit weaker than the later ones, but this is a great example to show you of one of the common failures of the MT82. This piece here that I'm turning is the hub. It's the hub for 5th and 6th gear. So how that works is when you select a gear, 6th gear for example, the hub slides over the dogs and locks the gear to the shaft. So then the shaft drives through to the output here. When it's not in gear, the gear is rotating freely of the shaft. That's neutral. As soon as it locks into gear, you select it, into gear, that is now locked to the shaft. But there shouldn't be any movement. Look how much movement's there. This one is bad. Anyway, this can only affect 5th and 6th gear, and there's a few different reasons as to why this might happen. Let me just give you a little bit more content of how it works. So there's the synchro ring. Leaving the detents out just because it's a pain to put them on. Okay, so input shaft, clutch goes on here, all drive comes through this shaft. When you're driving in 1st, 2nd, 3rd or 4th, we come straight off this pinion, this input gear here, and we drive this shaft. So all this wear and all this bagginess here wouldn't affect 1st, 2nd, 3rd or 4th. 5th and 6th, however, I've got next to no drive left. I wouldn't be surprised if that's completely spun, and you'll see in a minute what's gone on when I strip it a little bit further down. Also, look at the damage. Yeah, the case hardening's worn straight through that early shaft. The later shaft is a much better design because it actually has a bearing sleeve on it. This bearing runs directly onto the shaft, so it's only as hard as the shaft can be, whereas the later shaft, which I will show you, has a little bearing sleeve on there. Let me get it stripped down, I can show you a bit more. So now we've got it stripped and clean, should be able to see. First of all, look at that wear on that bearing face. That's right on here. That's crazy. All these teeth are gone. All these splines completely worn. So again, this is 5th and 6th hub. So those little splines there, that 1-inch diameter shaft, if that, and that is holds the whole weight of the vehicle in 5th and 6th gear. So it's no wonder that they fail, but I've got absolutely no doubt whatsoever that the owner, the past owner of this MT82, was probably towing a trailer, and probably a overweight trailer. So I'll show you in a minute what we're going to do to fix that. New shaft, upgraded shaft, an upgraded hub, but you've got to be careful when you're driving a Defender with a trailer on. These TDCIs, I find the gearing's all wrong on them, quite frankly. First gear is pretty much redundant, and I've got a TDCI 110, and it's really difficult to find that sweet spot when towing where you're not labouring too much, so you've got plenty, and you've got some acceleration under your foot to be able to pull away when needed to be, and at the other end of the scale you're revving too high, screaming the top of the rev range. So it's really important, if we're gonna tow with a TDCI Defender, and going to tow a lot and a lot heavy weight, we really want to have a good chat about ratios. look at your wheel size, consider diff ratios, consider transfer box ratios, and get the best out of it as we can. You shouldn't tow in 6th gear in a Defender anyway. 5th gear is the one to tow in. But like I say, it is hard sometimes when you're cruising on the motorway with a trailer on, trying to find that sweet spot. Right, let me show you what we're going to do. So here's the solution. New shaft, new improved design shaft. These were fitted to the later MT82s. So the advantage of this shaft, the reason it's gold by the way, is just because it's coated in some wax. Bit of protective wax that'll wash off in the hot wash, no problem. But this is the key. We've got a proper hardened ground bearing sleeve. Rather than the bearing just running directly onto the end of the shaft, which is what happens here on this shaft. This one has a sleeve that we have to press it on, a little circlip here to hold it on, and then that bearing runs on that. So we don't see these bearings fail very often at all. Those shafts, all the time. However, the splines, obviously brand new splines, so we'll fit a brand new hub to here. But this is no doubt happened due to towing serious weight, probably in 6th gear rather than 5th. Always change these as a pair. So nice new input shaft and a lay gear.